Let's go outside, let's take a walk in the sun. There are things to learn and things to see. A big wide world for you, your dog, and me. Dog Talk. Hi folks, and welcome to Dog Talk. I'm Pat Becker, you know my co-host Rusty, and we are here with Michelle and Mark Duncan. How are you?
Good.
It's good to see you, and you brought a dog that's very special. We're going to talk today about dogs with impaired hearing. This is Obi, as in Obi Kenobi, and we are so pleased that you all have brought him. He is our dog of the week. So tell me about him.
Oh. Go ahead.
I didn't. He's 4 years old.
Uh-huh.
I've known he was deaf since he was a baby.
So you got him as a puppy,
Uh-huh.
and which is excellent, by the way, because some of these dogs, if they're not recognized as having this little problem, if they're adopted when they're older, it makes it very, very difficult. But as a puppy, then you have control of its mind, and when they are deaf, they try very hard to use their other senses. So in knowing that, it behooves a person when they get a dog and it's a puppy and they know that it is deaf, you know, to know that. Rusty and I are both trainers, and we have trained dogs that have this impairment, and it is something that is so important. We teach all dogs to watch us, to look at us. These dogs have to.
Yeah.
In order to survive, they have to read us and read our language, and that language is with our hands and our bodies. Obviously, dogs always read our body language, and that's how they learn us. That's how they learn to get along with us. And we have to do the same thing with them. So when you found out that he had this impairment, what did you think?
I was a little worried at first, but I got some training, and it worked out pretty well.
So you did get him some training?
Yep.
And where did you go to do that?
The Canine Academy.
Canine Academy, which happens to be, you know, one that we know very well. So tell me then, what are the issues that you have now with him? Are there any?
Letting him outside to play, he doesn't, since he can't hear, it's hard to get his attention. So you have to go out and visually get his attention to let him know to come in and stuff. That's about all.
And so you say you have children. So they are older, I guess. How old are they?
15, 18.
15 and 18. And what are their names?
Blake and Ryan.
Blake and Ryan. So they're both boys?
Yeah.
So do they get along with this dog?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
Obi loves people, and we have cats, too, and Obi loves cats. So
he really loves our camera lady because she has given him treats, and he goes, whoa, there is one right there. And this too, there again is exemplary in defining how they get along in life, because they watch.
Oh yeah.
The only problem that I have found, the difficulty in having a dog that is deaf, because as I say, I have had one, is that when they reach a certain age and they are a senior dog, they start losing their hearing.
Right.
So you have to, as a trainer, I will tell you, you have to treat that. You have to forgive them for being a dog. You have to forgive their personality change, because what? Fear comes to them. They can't see as well as they did. They know they can't hear, but they relied on their sight and on their sense of smell. And I will tell you, as they reach seniorhood, as we say, the sense of smell is the one that really survives. But you do have to be gentle and good with them and understand them. I would say that.
Yeah.
You have to understand. So, and that is, of course, with all senior dogs. We thank you so much for bringing him. He is a delight. You know, he's the kind of dog I could keep forever. So we have made him the dog of the week. This is a $100 gift certificate to A1 Pet Emporium.
Thank you.
And I knew that he did not hear, so we brought toys that he could play with and pull on. Does he pull on toys?
Yeah.
That kind of thing?
Yes.
And we brought him a little monster that he can drag around, and a couple balls and some treats. So go into A1 Pet Emporium and spoil him and enjoy him, and just take it to for your benefit when he gets older. You know, you must observe that.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
A1 Pet Emporium is Oklahoma's authority on healthy nutrition for dogs and cats. Quality does not have to cost more, and we only have the best. If your pet suffers from allergies, digestive issues, skin infections, or hair loss, it may be the result of their diet. A1 Pet Emporium can help. We offer pet portraits monthly, adorable rescue animals every Saturday from noon to 4, and free dog and cat food samples. Locally owned and operated, we want to be your neighborhood pet store.
You know, it is so important with dogs that have impaired hearing. And we went to research it. We went to OSU and we got a wonderful video from Dr. Neer, who specializes in this kind of thing. Want to see that?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. How lucky we are to be here at OSU, and Dr. Neer is going to tell us all about how dogs hear, the hearing of dogs. Dr. Neer, how are you?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you, for goodness sakes. Well, we are here to find out. Now tell me, everybody kind of realizes that dogs hear better than humans, but why is that?
Well, their hearing organ is such that they're able to hear high frequency sounds better than people, and also at a lower decibel level are able to pick up sounds at a much lower level than what a person can. And as far as the anatomy of the ear is pretty similar between the dog and a human. There are just a few differences that allow them to hear the higher frequency sound, the pitches that, like the little whistles that people all are very aware of, that a dog can hear that a person can't. So
it's very interesting because as a trainer, I'm a dog trainer, and I have seen so many people yell at their dogs, you know, sit, come. And I have said to them, they hear pretty well. I don't think you need to scream at them.
Yeah, and what's interesting with that is that we do a lot of the hearing tests here, and one of the advantages of that test is picking up patients that have single hearing loss, so what we call unilateral hearing loss. But it's very hard for the client to pick that up because they hear so well with the normal ear that sometimes the hearing test is what picks it up, not because the owner noticed that the dog had any difficulty hearing.
Yeah, and it is interesting because I have had a deaf dog. A lot of dogs that are born pure white kind of inherit this trait, don't they?
Yeah, so the exact inheritance of a hearing loss is extremely complicated. There's very few breeds where we know exactly how it's inherited, meaning that whether it's a recessive trait, autosomal recessive, all those different inherited traits. Don't understand how that's inherited as far as the hearing loss. But we do know that it's closely related to the development of skin and skin color and hair coat color, and white being that hair coat color that is associated with a higher incidence of deafness. So
it is really interesting, as I say, because I had a deaf dog, a Jack Russell, who was pure white. And interestingly enough, because I guess being a trainer, but most people could do it, the dog watched me in order to get signals. And people with dogs who don't have hearing, if they're definitively deaf, if you diagnose them as deaf, what do you say to a person who owns this dog?
Okay, so most of the time we're doing hearing tests on litters of puppies. The clients want that, so they know what they can tell their clients who are going to buy those puppies. And a patient that's totally deaf in both ears, they have to have a special home, and they need to be, certainly well confined, not allowed to roam. There has to be a family that they have children. Those children understand that they can't startle the dog, all the things from a safety aspect. So those things are very important. Many of those breeders have clientele that actually want a deaf dog for certain reasons of their own. So we never recommend euthanasia of that patient, but certainly not to breed the patient. We actually don't recommend breeding a unilaterally deaf dog, especially those breeds that are prone to hearing loss, such as the Dalmatian, the Bull Terriers, but there are now over 80 breeds of dogs that have been documented to have congenital deafness.
So where did this come from? I understand that originally there were bloodhounds who were white that they stopped breeding. Did it go back that far or further?
Well, great question, and I don't know that I can answer that specifically. It certainly started in European countries with those breeds of dogs and the white dogs, and then that ended up progressing into the other breeds, and now the Dalmatian breed certainly is the one that's been recognized for the longest, had the most research and studies on. So those dogs go back many, many years in the European countries and then came to the U.S.
Yeah. So tell me then, now that we have kind of figured out how it happens and why it happens and what to do if they are, tell me the process that you go through in order to find out whether or not a dog has this deafness.
Okay. So we have 3 small needles that go underneath the skin, 2 go on top of the head, and then 1 under each ear that we test. And the sounds come out of a little tube that has a sponge that we put inside each ear. And then the computer sends sounds through the little sponge where the sounds come out. And then the test is set up, it's 80 decibels, which is plenty loud enough to stimulate the response. And then the clicks, the computer averages those, and then we print that report out for the client for each individual dog, and they're able to take that report home with them and give to their potential clients, or if it's just a single pet owner, they'll keep that for their records.
But you know, people would say, does that hurt the puppy? Is that the puppies squirm anyway, you know? But does that hurt them?
No, not at all. Actually, the needles that we use are much, much smaller than a needle we would use to give a vaccinations.
So then let me ask you the ultimate question. When that dog that is deaf as a puppy, when it becomes a full-grown dog anatomically, can you use a hearing aid? Can you put an implant?
The hearing aid just does not work very well, so it's not.
Maybe in the future. What symptoms, describe to me the symptoms that you would find in a dog that was deaf that maybe people wouldn't notice for a while?
Totally deaf in both ears?
Yeah.
That actually, most clients are pretty quick to pick up on that.
In other words, when they call the dog doesn't come.
Yeah, so just reacting to all the environmental stimuli from auditory stimuli, that they just don't respond to those. Now the unilateral dogs, more of a challenge, because people that use those dogs for agility training, hunting, they're
Herding
because they're more attuned to that animal being able to hear from the right or the left.
I think it's important to say to viewers too that a dog that is deaf is not mentally deficient.
Oh, not at all. They can make very good pets. By the time they're 4 weeks of age, that hearing loss is apparent if they're going to have that. And it never comes back. People ask me that all the time. Will they regain some hearing over a few months? And unfortunately, that doesn't happen. If they have a congenital deafness, it's going to remain.
So we appreciate it so much, Dr. Neer.
Right.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Wonderful information. We're going to take it home.
Okay.
Very, very informative, you know, and it's something that everybody ought to really realize when they do get a dog that has this kind of problem. So you said you had one.
We train one, and it's a completely different commitment and one that takes a lot from the family.
It really is, and it really does. We're going to take a quick break here, folks, and when we come back, on a more lighter note, Susan Owens is here. You'll like what she has.
A1 Pet Emporium is Oklahoma's authority on healthy nutrition for dogs and cats. Quality does not have to cost more, and we only have the best. If your pet suffers from allergies, digestive issues, skin infections, or hair loss, it may be the result of their diet. A1 Pet Emporium can help. We offer pet portraits monthly, adorable rescue animals every Saturday from noon to 4, and free dog and cat food samples. Locally owned and operated, we want to be your neighborhood pet store.
So Susan, I am so glad that you're here with us today.
It's nice to be back, Pat.
And you know my co-host,
Yes,
Rusty,
of course. Yeah.
And you have brought
Good to
Tug
see you.
with you.
Oh, yeah. Always bring
Such
Tug.
a star. He is probably the main star in your group, is he not?
is. Yes, I've used him more than any of my other dogs. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, so your training of these dogs and everything goes how far back? When did you first start this?
Oh, I started training with Canine Film Academy in England back in, stay here, Tug Tug, in like 2002 with my Beagle Dash. And started working in London and doing film jobs over there and photo shoots and things. And then when we moved back to Oklahoma, I started my own business in like 2008. And just ever since then, that's what we've been doing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know, it's such an interesting thing because there are not a lot of people who do this. You see a lot of dogs on commercials and things like that, but to have someone locally is such a blessing. And I'm just always amazed. Now Tug is a mixture. He's a mixed breed, but he definitely looks. And he's looking at me like, "Excuse me." He has that collie look to him.
Yeah.
And the thing about collies, a long, long time ago, they were the picture perfect ones. You know, the elongated noses, the ears, the hair, and he has that little collie look to him.
He
you know,
does.
plus there's a lot more in there. What is he exactly?
He's half Sheltie and half Papillon.
There we go. There we
So
go.
you can see he's the perfect example of both. Of the,
He
you know,
really
he's-
is.
He really is.
Absolutely, really
He
is.
was just kind of an accident, but the best accident, you know, that, as far as I'm concerned, that I've ever had.
Yeah. So you've seen some of her videos,
Yeah,
Rusty.
we've worked with her with the Canine Sports Academy, and some of the stuff that they do is just amazing. And it's fun to see anyone take her class, and to see the output is really just great. And it's another way to interact with your dog. So tell us, you have more than him. Who is in your company?
Well, I have a lot of students that have dogs. Of my own, I have a Border Collie, a Welsh Sheepdog, and a Nova Scotia Duck-Tolling Retriever, plus Tug.
And you know, the interesting thing is that they are all very much interrelated in that kind of dog. So why did you choose those dogs?
I like to use dogs that like to work, that want to do it. I don't like, I don't use dogs for work, for film work or photo shoots or anything that don't want to do it, because it's not fair to them. If it's not their thing, it's not their thing.
So then specifically, what does it require?
A willing attitude. That's really all it is a willing attitude, want to do it, enjoy treats and motivation, or toys or praise, any kind of motivation. But they have to want to, and you can tell a dog that wants to do it, and one that is like, I really just want to go to sleep in my bed over there, I really don't want to do this. You can use those sometimes if you need to just have a dog that is asleep in a bed somewhere.
Exactly.
There's a place for everyone.
So, but basically they have to be focused. They
Yeah.
have to be able to relate to you, and they have to be able to watch you. And
Right,
that sort
and they
of
have
thing.
to want to. I think that's the main thing, to have that motivation to be able to work.
And
Yeah.
of course, I think that probably does hold true because all of your students have different breeds of dogs.
Oh yeah, we've had everything. I can't think of very many that we haven't had through the years. And I've seen some dogs that I thought, and handlers too, that I thought, oh, they'll never catch on. And a lot of those have come to be the big stars of
you know,
yeah.
and I remember when we first met, and we came to we were at Channel 52, and you came there, and we had one of my very good friends, Brenda Aloff, there, as a matter of fact, and we kind of did an interview with you then. I think that was in 2010, maybe. That's been a long time.
Wow, 7 years already.
Can you remember? Can you remember that kind of thing?
I remember vaguely doing it. Yes.
Well, you know, as I say, we did take the video, and so I'd kind of like to let you watch it again. Would it be fun?
That would be fun.
All
yeah.
right, let's see it.
I'm sure we've changed a little.
Brenda, I would like to introduce Susan Owen. She has a theatrical school for dogs. What do you think of that?
I think this is wonderful. I just want the T-shirt. I think those are the best T-shirts ever. So what's the
Thank
name
you.
of your school, Susan?
It's Scout Dog Training, and the name of our class is Film Stars.
So, Scout Dog Training, where did you get that?
Well, my first dog that I did film work with was named Scout.
I wondered about
So,
that.
yeah, in fact, she's 7 years old now and still working. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
And who is this?
This
Who
is
we have
Tug.
here?
Tug is a 2-year-old, half Shetland sheepdog and half Papillon.
Can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Isn't he too adorable?
Yeah, and you know, Susan is remarkable in that the dogs that she trains, and she has students who are working at this, she not only trains the students and the dogs, but these dogs go on to do commercials and films and all of that. As a matter of fact, we have a little sample of what you have
Oh,
done.
good. Oh,
You
this
want
is
to show
awesome.
that?
All
Let's do
right.
it. Now tell us about what's going on.
Well, this was a workshop I did in England. We lived there for a while, and so I went back and worked with some of the people that I knew in England. And so this was called ABC Dogs, and a lot of these dogs are freestyle dogs, so they knew a lot of tricks already. So what we had to do is teach them to do it, you know, as we wanted them to and when we wanted them to.
And I just
being
love
filmed.
this because it's, as you say, ABCs. It's great for, for
great
kids.
for children. Yep, and this one is really cute. This is one of my favorite ones. This is little Lucky, the Chihuahua. And it takes him a while to get his little bottom in there.
He's working at it.
Yep, he'll get it.
H is for
There you
hat.
go.
There you go.
So this was a really fun seminar that we worked on over in England with all my friends, and lots of good
that
memories
wonderful?
there. Yeah.
Oh, it
yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
And I understand too that you brought some students with you from the
Right.
school.
Yes, I have 5 students here, or maybe 4, from my classes currently. All of them have been in one of the movies, because what we do is we train the dogs for about 10 weeks, and then we film a short movie, usually between 2 and 5 minutes long.
So everybody that attended the class is in the movie.
That's right, and they
do
have-
you teach the tricks that you're going to
Yes,
use in the class? Oh,
yes.
We've got
what
some
a
tricks
fun
over there.
class.
Why don't we
Yeah.
tell us what's going on here?
Okay.
Let's let them go ahead.
All right.
We'll have the first one go ahead in. Okay. Now what's going on here?
Okay, this is Jeanette.
Maggie, wake up.
Maggie's got sleepy. Okay.
All right, Susan.
And she's going to say a prayer, hoping that Maggie's going to do her tricks, I think. So that's her pray. Yeah.
Can you give me
And Jeanette's got a cold. Yeah, so she's going to get her a Kleenex.
hurry. Bring it here.
And she's going to bring it to her. Oh, good girl.
Put it in the trash.
Yeah,
You
she's
missed
gonna,
it. Oh, get it in the trash.
she's going to put it in the trash for her.
All right.
Yep.
Get on the ball.
And then she's practicing to do some exercise because she's getting older and needs to stay fit.
Here we go.
So, yep. So she's going to do a little bit of exercise here.
Maggie says, I don't know. It's pretty.
Well, there we go. Well,
Okay.
it is 100 degrees outside, a little
That's
hot
right.
to exercise.
So who do we have next?
Okay.
Coming up.
Next we have Alice with Cappy.
You know, I taught my fox terrier that Kleenex trick, but it didn't work anything like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she would grab the Kleenex box and just run through the house. So I think
Imagine, that sounds like a fox terrier.
Well, Jeanette's better. She really works with her
Okay,
dogs.
who do we have now?
Okay, this is Alice, and she's got her Cappy with her, and Cappy is going to climb her ladder, and we use this for Go Dogs Go, the movie that we did that was based on the Dr. Seuss book, Go Dog Go, and we used it for climbing the ladder. We had Cappy up on top, and then we had another dog, well, actually Jenna, who's also here. We had her go under the bottom, and then they both did a stay at the same time, which
So
is
she's going to climb
working
on this
together.
board?
Yeah,
Look
and
at
then
that.
she also can skateboard.
Isn't that something?
Yeah,
Bless
yeah.
her heart.
Yeah.
She said they
Well-
all are a little wary of this slick floor.
Right.
you notice.
There you go.
All
Good
right.
girl. Good girl, Cappy.
Excellent. So who do we have next?
Next we have Liz with Jenna, and Jenna is going to get in her basket and hold something and get her blanket.
All right. And Jenna is what kind of dog?
Jenna is a rescue.
Okay.
I think it's kind of
love
you know,
that.
Kind of a
yeah.
mixed breed?
Yeah.
Oh, I do too. I was
Could be
going to
many
say I
things.
applaud the use
Jenna's
of the
eager to
mixed-
get
Yeah.
in the basket, isn't
Yeah,
she?
so she's going to get. We train the dogs to get in all sorts of things and to do stays and.
Oh, look at this.
Yep, and then
How
to get out,
precious.
you know, when they're released, and then also to do things once they're in the basket.
Uh-huh.
So
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I think.
So
she's-
who do we have now?
Okay, next we have Linda with Abby. And Abby was in the camping movie.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
at your
I loved that movie.
Yes,
I
and
loved it.
Abby, yes.
So what's Abby going to do?
She's going to unroll her mat. She's practicing for unrolling her mat. We use this in the camping movie to unroll sleeping bags.
Oh my gosh.
And so each dog unrolled a sleeping bag, and this is how we taught it, by putting food at certain intervals in the mat. And then we faded that away till there was one at the beginning and then one at the end.
Excellent.
And so you can use it for all sorts of things. Now we're doing an exercise video and we're using the same thing. So
I love it.
Yeah. So
Susan,
that's-
this is remarkable.
It's fun to take the trick and then use your imagination to decide how you're
and
going to
all of these dogs will be, we're going to look for them. They're going to be famous, these dogs.
Well, they are. They
and,
are.
And thank you so much for
you're welcome.
bringing them. So how much fun was that?
Wow.
You brought us a new one.
Yes, I have.
Okay, an update.
Oh, yes. And this is our class that we're going to see next.
Okay, let's do
doing
this.
lots of fun things.
All right. Susan,
Yes.
that was fantastic as usual. So if someone wants their dog to be a star, how do they do that?
Scoutfilmcompany.com, Facebook, email, anything. It's all the same. Scout Film Company.
There you go, folks. You want your dog to be a star? Get in
Yeah.
touch with this lady. We had a great show. Rusty, thank you so much. It
You're
was
welcome.
good, wasn't it?
Great show.
We will see you next week, folks. Take care.
Dogs. We're talking about dogs. Talking about big dogs, talking about little dogs, oh yeah. Chasing the ball, chasing the cat, digging hole, thing like that. Dogs. Talking about dogs. Laughing dogs, sad dogs, happy dogs, mad dogs, dogs. Just talking about dogs.